Alright guys, in today's video we're going to talk about, are you the hot commodity here in the Philippines? The 62-year-old Social Security collector? Or is it the hot 22-year-old Filipino? Stick around and we'll discuss it. So I decided to do this topic because you get this topic kind of comes up or touches around it. And I wanted to kind of dive a little bit deeper into it because there's two things that I usually tell people. I tell people, you know, if you come out here, whether you're a little overweight or you're elderly or whatever, even if you have a smaller Social Security payment like $1,500 US per month, I tell people you are the hot commodity. A lot of people just can't wrap their head around that. And then you have vice versa, you know, these guys who bring their beautiful Filipina back to the States or Australia. Well, then the dynamics change and she becomes the hot commodity. And so I'm going to go into a bit more detail about that. Now, for a lot of guys, they might think, well, don't you need to be rich to be the hot commodity here? If I'm only bringing in $1,500 versus another expat who's bringing in $5,000. Well, for the majority of Filipinas, we're talking a Filipina maybe who's living out in the province, who's, if lucky, their family's bringing in 10,000 pesos per month, around $200 US. Even though you may think, okay, 1,500 US, and you compare it with the rest of the expat community who maybe has 2,000 or 2,500 or 4,000 or so on, and you're saying to yourself, well, I'm pretty poor compared to a lot of the other guys. But to a Filipina out in the province, $1,500, you know, for her, she's thinking she hit the jackpot. And she's thinking, I'm going to live well the rest of my life. And that's basically it, you know. Because you can take somebody who, for example, let's say I'm making $1,000 a month. And another guy is making $3,000. For most Filipinas, they don't even really get at it. They just kind of look at you and they say, oh, here's a foreigner, he must be well off. And if you can take her out to dinner a few times a week, and you can every once in a while, you know, take her out to a little vacation, or you have a nice big TV and you've got Netflix and good Wi-Fi and aircon at home, she's thinking, oh, you're rich. And so sometimes they don't even really differentiate between a guy who's making $5,000 a month or a guy who's making $1,500 a month. Now, some of the more savvy ones who've been around a little bit, dated some foreigners or have traveled around and maybe have gone other places or worked in the city, they can kind of figure it out, because maybe the guy who's making $5,000 US a month, living in a high-rise condo, like a penthouse suite, versus the guy who's living in a small little apartment in the province in the Philippines. Well, for the average Filipina, she's thinking she hit the jackpot, even if you're just bringing in $1,000 a month. So, yeah, are you the hot commodity? Yeah, you are. Let's be honest, money still talks. It talks out in the West. What do you think movie stars and musicians who are old men now still have beautiful young girlfriends? Well, yeah, it's partly status. It's financial for sure. And things aren't really any different here. And if you went back to ancient times, probably not so different either. The hunter who brought in the most kills was probably the popular guy, you know. And you flash forward to today here in the Philippines, well, it's the same thing. If you've got this much money coming in versus another guy who's bringing a couple $100 in a month, you know, Filipino, then you're probably more of the hot commodity. Even if you're Social Security age, you're collecting pension from a country, and you're over here in the Philippines, well, again, I say again, if you have a house with a nice TV, some decent furniture, and Netflix and aircon and Wi-Fi, well, you know what? She's hit the jackpot. In her mind, she's hit the jackpot. She can live a comfortable life and she'll be happy. She's going to be doing a lot better than most of her counterparts. So, yes, you are the hot commodity in the Philippines. Now, does that mean that every girl, every Filipina is going to drop down to their knees and just thank God that they have found you and that they are dating you? No. There is still a good chunk of Filipinas who don't want to date foreigners for whatever reason. Maybe they're just not attracted to them. They don't feel like they have anything in common with them. The language, maybe they work and they do okay. You know, maybe they're a Filipino who's making 25,000 pesos a month and they feel like, I don't really need a foreigner. I can live a decent life. And maybe they're dating a Filipino who's making around the same at the same company. Well, again, she doesn't really need you then. And I think we can all be honest, most of us foreigners, that if a 25-year-old beautiful Filipina has a choice between a 25-year-old handsome Filipino guy who's bringing in decent money or a 65-year-old foreign guy who is making decent money, most are probably going to choose the 25-year-old Filipino guy. It's just the way it is. I'm not disillusioned myself to think that wouldn't be otherwise. I think it would be the case. And you can't blame girls for wanting to better themselves in life. A lot of Filipinos will tell you, well, I don't want to go down in status in my life. I want to marry up. I want a better life for myself and for my kids, or, you know, what have you. I want to travel. I want nice things. Well, you know, even us guys, I want nice things. I want to live a better life, and that's why a lot of us are out here. And that's the main reason us foreigners come out here. Well, we want a younger, pretty girlfriend. We can't have that in the West, so we come out here. We want to be able to live at a place who's got a nice pool to swim at, and I got a nice big apartment that was security, and I probably couldn't afford something like this maybe in the West, you know, on a regular salary. But here you can. Here you can feel like you're on vacation all the time, which I do. I wake up in the mornings, and sometimes I don't even know what day it is. The only way I even know what day it is if I have something scheduled. Perhaps somebody signed up for a consultation, or because I go to the gym Monday through Friday, I tend to know what day it is. But there are times I wake up, I have no idea what day it is. I don't ever have a full schedule. Maybe if it's some special day, like yesterday was Valentine's Day, I had to go to the gym and pick up flowers, and I had a delivery for little Nora for some chocolates, and then we went out to a restaurant for lunch. And so, yeah, I had a full day that day. But for the most part, I have a pretty empty schedule, and that's the way I like it, and that's why a lot of us come out here. And we come out here to be the hot commodity for once. So, guys, when you step off the plane, have some confidence, because guess what? You are the hot commodity. You may not be the hot commodity as far as looks, but your dollars or whatever currency you're bringing in with you, the euro, that's going to give you, that's going to make you a hot commodity. It's just the way it is. That's, you know, as long as you have the money, it will make you a hot commodity in most of Southeast Asia. Now, there are some countries that are starting to become more wealthy, and so, you know, countries like Vietnam are starting to become more wealthy. Malaysia and, you know, Singapore, forget it. You're not going to have large age gaps in a lot of these countries because the financial situation has gotten a lot better. 20 years ago in Vietnam, you could have a 30, 40-year age gap. Not anymore. Not really. Because financial reasons. So as long as the Philippines remains low salaries and a developing nation, well, you're going to be the hot commodity here. Now, turn it around. This is why I always tell people, you know, if you have a large age gap and you bring your Filipina to the West, not always, some work out. I know several that are working out just fine. But down the road, if you are an elderly gentleman and you bring your young, beautiful Filipina to the West, well, she is now the hot commodity because she can go out and get a job and she can make the American dollars or Aussie dollars, and she's young, and they don't like the term here, but in the West she would be exotic, different looking, a beauty. And so she's the hot commodity, and she doesn't really necessarily need your money, because she can get a job there, and she can get a younger guy. Now, I always tell people that either you're closer in age, you should be okay, or if you do have a large age gap, if you have kids together, that usually helps too, because Filipinas are very family oriented, and if you have children together, that usually cements the family unit together much better with Filipinos anyway. So anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinions. Are you the hot commodity, or aren't you? Is it you, or is it her? The 62-year-old guy who's retired on a pension, balding, overweight, but has that pension? Or is it the 22-year-old hot Filipina here? Which one of you is the hot commodity? Comment down below. Let's have that conversation. Check out my website for a lot more information. Free PDF that you can download or print about moving out or traveling to the Philippines. Book a hotel from one of the ones that I highly recommend, that I've personally stayed at throughout the Philippines, on my main website as well. Quick note, if you guys want to help support my channel, consider joining either my YouTube membership by clicking the join button under any one of my videos, or by heading over to patreon.com/GIOINTHEPhilippines, where I have 87 additional videos and a lot more information as well. Join for a low rate and get additional benefits. Thank you guys so much. See you next time.